Imagine finding a 1943D Lincoln penny that looks completely different from the other 1943 cents you've seen. Instead of the familiar gray, zinc-coated steel color, imagine it has the warm reddish-brown appearance of an old copper cent. Now the question becomes enormous. Could this tiny penny be worth hundreds of thousands, or even around $1.7 million? The 1943D Lincoln cent is connected to one of the greatest error stories in American numismatics. And today we're going to uncover exactly why collectors consider it one of the most extraordinary pennies ever discovered. The year 1943 was unlike almost any other year in American history. The United States was deeply involved in World War II, and almost every part of American industry was being affected by the war effort. Copper was urgently needed for ammunition, electrical equipment, military vehicles, and other essential materials. Because of this shortage, the U.S. Mint made a dramatic decision. Ordinary Lincoln cents would temporarily be produced from zinc-coated steel instead of the traditional bronze alloy. That decision created the famous 1943 steel penny. The regular 1943D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint, with a reported mintage of approximately 217.66 million pieces. It weighs about 2.70 grams, measures 19 millimeters, and is made from zinc-coated steel. But the regular steel cent isn't the coin that created the million-dollar legend. The famous treasure is the 1943D bronze Lincoln cent. According to NGC, a small number of leftover bronze planchets from 1942 are believed to have accidentally remained in the Mint's production system when the new steel planchets were introduced. Some of these bronze planchets were apparently struck with 1943 dated dies. Approximately 17 1943 bronze cents are confirmed across the three mints, making them among the most famous wrong planchet errors in U.S. coinage. NGC2, and the Denver example, is the star of the story. NGC describes the 1943D bronze cent as the rarest known 1-cent coin, with only one example believed to have been produced at Denver. That extraordinary coin sold privately for $1.7 million in 2010, making headlines as the most expensive penny ever sold at that time. That is where the worth in millions story comes from. But there's a very important warning for anyone searching through their collection. Not every brown-colored 1943D penny is a bronze cent. The normal 1943D penny is steel. Over decades, steel cents can become dark, stained, corroded, or altered, and some may look deceptively similar to bronze. A genuine bronze example should have the correct characteristics of the bronze planchet. A standard bronze Lincoln cent from the earlier years weighs approximately 3.11 grams, while the regular 1943D steel cent weighs approximately 2.70 grams. So, if you find a 1943D that looks copper-colored, don't clean it, scrape it, or try to test it with destructive methods. Weigh it carefully with an accurate scale, photograph both sides, and seek professional authentication. A coin claiming to be a 1943D bronze cent should be examined by a major grading and authentication service, because counterfeits and altered coins exist. There's another interesting variety involving the regular steel cent, the 1943D/D repunched mint mark, known as FS501. PCGS records an auction result of $21,275 for an MS67 example, showing that you don't need the legendary bronze error to find a valuable 1943D. Even ordinary high-grade 1943D steel cents can bring impressive prices. PCGS records an auction result of $19,520 for an MS68 Plus example sold in January 2026, while NGC's current guide shows values rising substantially for coins in the highest grades. Collectors should also watch for genuine striking errors, such as off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, and other unusual mint-made characteristics. But remember, scratches, discoloration, corrosion, or damage that occurred after the coin left the mint are not automatically valuable errors. If you discover a 1943D cent, the first thing to check is simple. Is it steel or bronze? The color can give you a clue, but color alone proves nothing. Weight, composition, authenticity, and professional examination are critical. The ordinary 1943D steel cent is a fascinating wartime coin, but the genuine 1943D bronze cent is something entirely different. It represents an extraordinary minting mistake from one of the most important years in American history, and one authenticated example reached $1.7 million. So the next time an old 1943D penny appears in your collection, don't rush to spend it. Look at the color, check the weight, examine the mint mark, and investigate the details. Because somewhere in the world, the next incredible Lincoln cent discovery could still be waiting to be recognized.